thanks for watching my lesson. This is going to be a tutorial on a classic Eric Clapton blues solo from the song All Your Love. This was a 1966 song from the album Bluesbreakers with Eric Clapton, otherwise known as the Beano album, which I've only just found out. I always thought it was just called the Beano album. So it's John Mayall and the Bluesbreakers at the time where Eric Clapton played with them. And he's on the cover reading the Beano, which is why it's called the Beano album. It's a cover of an Otis Rush song. It's a very good song as well. Just definitely listen to some Otis Rush if you've not done that before. This is the first part of a series of lessons I'm going to do. So I do a lot of blues solo tutorials, but this is giving it a bit more structure, and it's going to be an A to Z of blues solos where I'm going to pick hopefully a classic blues song from every letter of the alphabet. This is obviously my A, All Your Love, and do some lessons on them. I haven't really thought about what I'm going to do when I get to the sort of Q's and the X's and the Z's and so on, but I'm sure I can wing it. So that's it. Yeah, I'm going to put a backing track on my Patreon page and possibly the tab. I'm not sure. I don't usually do tab because even though I write down tab, I don't put it into Guitar Pro or anything like that because some of the solos I do, I'm quite mastered sort of working out the note length on them, and it's quite tricky for the really fast stuff to put it in Guitar Pro. But if I can, I'll put that on the Patreon as well because this is a slightly slower paced solo. I'm not going to go into the rhythm too much because this is about the solo, but essentially this song starts off as a minor blues and then switches halfway through to like a swing blues and then switches back to a minor blues. It's got a solo at the beginning, it's got a solo at the outro, but this is the two solos that take place in the middle. So just as the minor part is ending, and then there's a 12-bar solo for the swing part as it starts. So this is going to be those two solos. So yeah, let's get stuck in. So the first one we're going to be covering is the minor one, which sounds like this. So really simple, all we're doing is we're using this shape. So if we start up here, so this is going to be a E minor arpeggio, this is going to be a D minor arpeggio, oh sorry no, this is going to be A minor actually, A minor arpeggio up here, 12, 13, 14, we're going to use the D minor, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to briefly use the E minor, which is 7, 8, 9. So yeah. Got a bit confused there, but we're going to start off with the A minor, which is primarily where this solo is going to live. And that basically is imitating the chords of the 12-bar minor blues that's going on behind it. It doesn't necessarily sound like it, they're not strumming. They're doing this riff. How's it go? So that little riff is your A minor, and then it goes down to the D. Back to an A minor, E minor, D minor, so that's what's going on in the background. I'm not really teaching that in this lesson, but if someone does want a lesson on the whole song, then feel free to suggest it in the comments. We're just dealing with the solos, so we'll start up here, first finger on the 12th fret of the E string, middle finger on the 13th fret of the B, ring finger on 14th fret of the G, and we're going to be playing this. So I'm just going to read out the strings that I'm picking here, so we're going G, B, G, E, back to G, and then B and G again, so finish with an E and then a G, so I should say that this starts, it comes in on the and of the one, so one and, that's when we're starting for this. So the vocals will end, And then you're going to count, start the next bar, and when you've counted to get to the first quarter note, we come in on the end of that. So we do that once, we then repeat it again. We then play it a third time, but this time halfway through we're going to switch down to our D minor. So there we just did G, B, G, E, G, B, and then come down here. So this is our D minor, so exactly the same fingering, just slide everything down to 5, 6, 7. Play that once. Give a bit of vibrato on all of these if you can at the end. And then come back up to the A minor. Play that first sequence again. And then play the half one again like we did before we went there, but this time we're going to be going to the E minor, which is 7, 8, 9. So putting that all together, we've got strum it again. And then slide everything down 1 fret, so this is like a passing chord. So that would be 6, 7, 8. And then play the D minor again, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to bend and release the 7th fret on the G string. And then play 5 on the G. And then 7, 5, 7 on the D. That's it. So that's quite simple. It's just a case of getting that picking right for the arpeggios. The strings are all ringing out together, so you don't have to worry about kind of muting them and stopping them. So let's just go for all of the minor solo again. And that's it. Let's move on to the major. So this one comes in on a an earlier beat as well. So this will come in on the 2 of the following bar. So 1 and 2. Okay, going to come in there. And this one starts off with a. So again, behind this, I should say this is a 12 bar, but rather than all that, we've got a more simple. Something like that. And also this is primarily going to be in it's primarily going to be A minor pentatonic, as was the minor one, so we're keeping the same scale effectively despite it being quite a different background to it. And we're going to come in with this on the T, remember. So staccato type picking 4 times on the 10th fret of the B string. And then a little micro blues bend on the 8th fret of the E string. So 4 times 10 on the B. Micro bend 8 on the E. Then we've got a big tone and a half bend on the 10th fret of the B. So we kind of want to get up to that pitch. So 13 on the B. And then a bit of vibrato. So after we've done that tone and a half bend, we're then going to play it again, unbent. We're then going to bend up again. Try and kind of get tone and a half again, but if you only make a tone, it's not too much of a problem. Again, don't sound the release. Play it again unbent. Play 8 on the B and then 9 on the G. And then back up 8, 10 on the B. So all of that. A little bit of vibrato on some of those first picks on the 10th. And then we're going to do that lick, which is bend and release 10th fret on the E string. Pull off to the 8. Play the 10 again. Play the 8 again with a little micro bend with the first finger. And then play 10 on the B. And then the next lick is going to be this, which is a one step, one tone bend on the 10th of the E. Don't sound release. Play the 8 again on the E, slight micro bend. Play the 10 on the B with a bit of vibrato. And then do another little micro bend on the 8 on the E again. So far we got this. And then we go to this lick. So we're going to bend up one step the 8th fret on the B string. Lots of vibrato. Don't sound a release, play the 8 again. And then play 5. 7, 5 on the G. Another little tiny micro bend on that 5. And then 7 on the D, 7 on the A. I'm not entirely sure he is hitting the 7 on the D. I think he is, but I can't be positive. So maybe to mainly emphasize the 7 on the A, give it some vibrato. So you can either do this. Sorry, you can either do this, or you can do this. So the second time around, I didn't play the 7 on the D. Doesn't matter too much. And after you've given that a bit of vibrato on the 7th fret of the A string, we're going to double stop the 5 and the 5 on the G and the B and slide down. And that's almost the end of the solo, just a few more licks to go. So after we've done that, we're going to do this. So again, very staccato picking, twice on the 10th fret of the B string, and then 8, 10 on the E, and then 10 again, so that's 2 picking the 10 twice on the E, and then 8 again, and then 10 on the B, and then little micro bend on the 8th of the E. And then we go to the last lick of the solo, which is this. And what we're doing there is we've gone all the way up to the 20th fret, and we're going to Pick it and bend up one step, and then play it again unbent. Don't sound the release. And then play 17 on the E, 20 on the B, and then 17 twice again on the E. So. And then the last bit, which took me a while to figure out, just because it sounds a bit odd and it's not particularly clear on the recording, but is basically... So after we've come off of this, we're then going to pick the 20 again on the B, bend up one step, don't sound the release, play it again, unbent, play 17, then going to bend up one step, the 19 on the G string, and then play again unbent, so. And finish with that, which is just 17, 19 on the G, 17 on the B, 17 on the G with a tiny blues micro bend again. So. So I'm going to play through that second solo slowly one last time and then we'll call it a day. I don't think I need to play the first one again because that was fairly straightforward. So we'll just do this one. Any questions, let me know. Yeah, I'll see you for letter B, which I think I know what it's going to be, but again, open to suggestions. So. That's it. See you for the next one.